what we're going to do this morning is we're going to talk about gematria and some terms, phrases. And this is what I was saying in the last video. Nobody's teaching, trying to tell, teach, bring awareness. You know, these influencers, they can tell you, they'll teach you all about the zodiac, geocentric, and all that, but they do not tell you about like what's really going on. You understand? A lot of them have been approached by these Jesuits, okay? And it doesn't matter if they keep pushing geocentric, as long as they stay on certain topics and don't touch certain things. Because I can tell you this, every fucking one of them is piggybacking off of Steiner. And it wasn't even Steiner, it's what was in him. Okay? That's what I'm saying. On the other side, there's no names. There's none of that shit. There's none of that shit over there. The only reason that names and we have these letters and all that, it's because we're under major black magic sorcery, like generational. They don't teach, like they would be saying, look, each family unit represents a black magic cell. You know, and a demon would tell you this. Okay, creating societies. I'm going to use the words that you would understand. Towns. Depending on how long we want that physical location. For instance, there's a little bitty, he was telling some people the other day, he said that little bitty structure, along with a little bitty McDonald's, is what built this whole community around here. And you can apply that anywhere. And then every one of them's got fucking health problems and everything because they wasn't taught to fend off the land. It's magnetic food. They were taught to eat what's brought into there. Do you not understand that? So they would be teaching you, like, when you set up towns, demons, you know, we can create the first, once we set it up with some young ones and some older idiots too, and throw them in there, they might live 10 or 20 years, but they're going to provide some kind of work for us. And then slowly through a decade or two, it's going to grow. And then those impulses become concrete. We created that. The only thing within that town black magic cell is what we put in there. We teach you how to read in there only what we give you for the newspapers. So when you read it first in the morning, you're always thinking materialism, and then that's ingrained into a generation. And then, you know, we've got good impulses, and then we slowly throw bad impulses through our technology and push the blood, and then the offspring starts rebelling, and then you get crime, and this is where you are. See, I tried to give you like a shit ton of fucking knowledge in just that little bit. But the average human goy being on earth now, they can't think about that. They cannot think, like, I cannot think about like how, let me put all this shit to the side. Instead, they put on headsets and they make all these presentations, demonstrations. The word demon is in demonstration. You know, but what we have with him, with me, is he is fucking laughing. This is all like, this is cupcake. This is garbage. It's all created for control. Okay, an echo, when you make a fucking go somewhere and yell and there's an echo, it fades away. Okay, well this shadow entity, this fucking top dog demon that has destroyed everything. See, they destroyed all kinds of fucking knowledge, and then they kept it. And then what they've done is they've doctored everything up, and whatever comes through a human being here, that's channeled through them. They sit back, observe them, fucking take all their literature, and once they're died, they recorrupt it, restructure it, and then recirculate it into their own. There's nothing original about this fucking demon that's done all this. It's melted everything and has prepared souls for this sphere and for all souls to miss the next 3 stages of true evolution that me and you ain't gonna miss. Okay? But for a goy to be sitting here and laughing at all this, you know, and I strongly suggest if you do have the money to order one of these, okay, because you're going to have to go through what's in your brain has seen this before. You wouldn't be here if you're not inclined, something's in there. But there's all these materialistic Ahrimanic impulses in there telling you he's fucking crazy, and then that's why people run. It's because they're programmed. They're black magic. We'll go over that in just a minute. But, you know, there's a chapter on all the different kind of seals, polygons, polygrams. You've got these magic squares, because this is very important. Okay. Right there's the magic square of Saturn, right here, which would be your tic-tac-toe board. Yeah, and this would also be your 1 through 9 dialing pad. Saturn. It's Saturn. Okay. So, we'll come over here to this chapter on talismans and sigils. It doesn't matter. It's just a word. You don't have to pronounce it the right way. So, it says, a mode of using the talismanic forms drawn, and it's funny because manic depressant, forms drawn from the geomantic figure is to take those yielded by the figures under the planet required and to place them at the opposite ends of a wheel of 8 radii as shown below, which is this. That a suitable matter may then be written within the double circle. Occasionally a square of any convenient number of compartments may be substituted for the wheel, or one form may be used for the obverse and the other for the reverse of the talisman. Now listen, it says another very important mode of forming sigils anciently was through the medium of the Kemiyas, Kemeas or Qemeas, of the planets, or the magical squares. Okay, so the magical square is that right there. The Saturn, these. Real quick, right there's Mercury, right here. Right there's Mercury. Wait. Yeah, right here. That's the magic square of 8. A chessboard is 8. So when you're looking at a chessboard, you're looking at Mercury. You're looking at mercurial fucking energy that you have no fucking idea about. It's just a board. Well, a board is the same thing as the courtyard, the town square. It said you can use a square just there. See, all these towns are set up as magic fucking squares. And eventually they're all connected like he said a long time ago. So it says magical squares are arrangements of numbers so arranged as to yield the same number when added horizontally, vertically, and diagonally. Also, the sum of the total of all the numbers in the square is a number of special significance to the planet to which that square is referred. The method of forming rituals from these is very simple. The knowledge of how this was done, however, had, during the time of my membership in the order of this guy, completely faded from memory. So he's saying the knowledge of the magic squares has faded. Okay? And none of the members or the chiefs of the temple could give any information. It said, yet this was the principal method employed by the traditional authorities in obtaining sigils. The method of using the rose cross, and while in certain instances it is very useful or perhaps the most convenient mode, it has no root in antiquity. Not only had the knowledge from the Kamias faded from the order, the knowledge of the magic squares and how to work this shit to summon, okay, but the chiefs even eliminated the magical squares from the knowledge lectures. It was claimed that a number of mistakes had crept into the numbers on the squares. Had they known it, the method and the correct form of the squares were in certain books and manuscripts in the British Museum. None of them, however, made the least attempt to recover the true accurate form of the Kamias. So, according to this author, Israel Regardie and the rest of those fucking dummies, the ones at the top have that. Okay? So, they're going to leave certain information out here, but they will keep it for themselves, and then they'll write in their black magic literature that, yeah, it was just left out. Okay? And it says, the sole requisite to tracing sigils of the planetary names formed from the Kamiya is Akbekar, or the Kabbalah of 9 chambers. Incidentally, this too was eliminated from the knowledge lectures. By this method, the letters of the Hebrew alphabet are grouped together according to the similarity of their numbers. Thus, in one chamber, we're not going to go into all that shit. Now, what we're going to do. It says, below are given the Kamiyas of the 7 planets together with the traditional seals of their planets, intelligences, and spirits. Okay, but it says here that the Kabbalah of 9 chambers. We're just going to Google that right quick. The Kabbalah of 9 chambers. Look, right there it says it. You can Google that too. You see that? It says, there's that. IAQ. No, not that one. It says the Kabbalah of 9 chambers, or this term in here, a specific esoteric Kabbalistic method for transforming letters and words by converting them to their radical equivalents, linking them into a system of 9 chambers. You've got Chamber of Commerce in every town. Or columns. You've got columns on the Tree of Life to reveal hidden meanings. The calling pad is the Tree of Life. Okay? Especially used in ceremonial magic for creating sigils and understanding divine names, distant from the standard 10 Sephiroth, but rooted in gematria. So, the Kabbalah of 9 chambers. In Blade Runner, the newer one, when he's sitting there and the little weird things flying around, they're making that weird noise, and she put that thing in his neck, and he's sitting there looking at a new creation human, and then he goes, "A child, we should own the stars by now. A child can count to 9." That's what he's referring to, and then it shows all those different beings which look like humans or different kind of life forms. That's just a mockery of what they've created. Okay, so what we have now, it involves shifting letters like A to I or Q based on numerical values, 1, 10, 100, creating patterns of spiritual power, often seen in works by occultists like Crowley, and in texts like the Arbidol of Magic. Let's see what that is just right quick. Oh, it's a grimoire. Yeah, of course. I'm sure I've got it. It's just under a different name. Okay. Now, what we have, though, is we're reading something out of out of this coloring book. And then we're going to this fucking demon coloring book, which is a huge fake screen of fake fucking light that's an imitation of life out there and those orbs up there. So now what they've done is they've referenced gematria. Okay? They've referenced gematria. A Kamiya magic square. So we've chess. Okay, now what we're going to do is just look at some terms in gematria. So remember, you've got to have the seal, which would be, you know, your a pentagram, a hexagram, a triangle, a square, octiad or whatever, octagon, ennead. Okay, you're going to have seals, so these they have to be charged. And when you set these up, you've got to know the degrees. You know, these goy have fake degrees running around. So gematria is turning letters into numbers. And then these numbers represent beings. Okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to, you can screenshot this and then we'll go over these. These are all terms. Alright. And this is satanic gematria. Satanic gematria is 666. Okay, and real quick, there's the alphabet right here. In satanic gematria, A is 36, B 37, C 38, all the way to Z 61. Okay, and every one of these represent demons. Every one of these phrases, every one of these terms and agreements, they represent hardcore black magic. Okay, so the first one we have is satanic blood worship, which is 888. We have under that chained and bound goyim, which is 888. The next one is inside slavery trance, 888. The next one is Phoenician image idols, 888. The next one is Saturnalia exercises, 888. Real quick, what year was this nation founded on? 888 times 2 is 1776. So if certain influencers want to teach you something, they're not teaching you anything. They are liars. The cube of 8, which would be 512. See, those of you paying attention that's trying to, you've got to learn prime numbers, squares, triangular numbers, all these different kind of numbers, perfect numbers. All right, and then below satanic gematria, which is 666, we'll go to the rest of those. Oh, Saturnalia exercises, 888. That has to do with real shit. So now the other 666 ones is Saturnian idols, is 666. Jesuit ideology is 666. And then Goyim exercises, 666. And what do you always learn in school? We're gonna have some exercises. Exercise is exorcism. Exorcist. They're exercising impulses in you. See, they're in you. You're born with satanic impulses. Now we'll go to the 9/11 satanic gematria. Chained, bound humanity, which has to do with when you come through this life and never look up, and you've always absorbed materialism. When you go across, you're going to be stuck here. Every addiction that you have that you think you don't have and you don't have to face And all those emotions that come through screens are going to come out and attack you. And then what you ignored is going to attack you too. And then every billions and billions and billions of fucking dumb, goy souls are roaming right now. They're all trying to get in bottles of fucking alcohol. Wherever somebody's having orgies and sex, they're in there trying to get that in. They're getting into the coffees. They're getting into the sodas. It is a fucking huge demon realm. Ahrimanic bound, chained, 9/11. This is, if you don't know about Ahriman, you're lost. Corrupting molecules is 9/11. Saturnian vibrations, 9/11. Human square sacrifice, 9/11. What is on all the vehicles? 9/11. What happened in New York on 9/11? See, it has to do with this. It has to do with the clip off. I'll show you. And these polygons and the endecagram, which is this one. This is the 11th. This is 11. This would be 10. Okay, the decangle as a whole is referred to the 10th Sephiroth, Malkuth. And then you got 11 and then 12, which has to do with the prime mobile, which is the top dog. But this, it says the endecagram as a general rule is referred to the clip-off of its form, however. The one reflected from every fourth point represents their restriction. See, there's power in these symbols and these angles and all that. That's why they build their structures. These are foundations of all of your coliseums. And it says, and therefore it is not altogether to be classed with those that represent their operation in nature. The endecangle naturally represents the evil and imperfect nature of the endecad, and the endecagon represents the dispersal of the 11 curses of Mount Ebal through the universe. Deuteronomy 27. Go to Deuteronomy 27 and look at those curses. Now listen. It says, a note by Regarde, though they are paraphrased as 12 in the English Bible, in the Hebrew version they were paragraphed as 11, two being classed together. So what we're looking at when we're looking at 11, it really does have to do with the curses and shit. It really, really, really does. It really does. And 9 represents all kinds of shit, and we're not going to get into it. Okay? So, once again, let's just let our mind get accustomed to that. And see, real quick, I'll show you Latin. Just to show you 9/11. We're not looking at satanic. We're looking at Latin. So 9/11 spirit is 12/17 in Latin. When did Saturnalia begin in ancient times? What's highlighted? December the 17th. So you got 12/17 right there in Latin. 9/11 spirit. And see, the more you see this 9/11 everywhere, and you'll who is it? The Call of Duty guy that just died or whatever. He died on 12/21. Well, Paul Walker's in that shit somehow. I don't get into it. I just seen a glimpse that there's some shit people are talking about. Well, from Paul Walker's death until his was 12 years, 21 days. 12/21. And then he died on 12/21. Yeah, and see, and I predicted some shit years ago in 2026. We predicted Biden and them winning, all the Floyd shit. Everything that has happened in the past 5 years, we pretty much, I can't do videos shit like this. People don't understand it. They don't even understand they can't even understand the other shit. Do you really think that their fucking dumb goy mind is going to understand satanic demonism that has them enslaved for generations, ingrained in their blood? Do not listen. Do not look up. He is crazy. We are so demonized with these screens. They tell us everything to do. Without the screens, this fucking thing is nothing. It is nothing. I'll be quiet. Because I get so fucking worked up. What's inside of me does. And just for, okay, unseen. All these are terms that have been literally, they've had all those, not that book, shit that you don't have and I can't get. They have, they've been hexed. They've been charged. Do you understand? Every one of them. Unseen darkness charge is 9/11. If the people weren't watching the shit, the TV, I'm telling you, it's not hard to see. Like when you're not part of that circuit of idiocy, you can watch like when people start wearing masks and shit and they're all fucked up, man. They got acne all over their face and they're fucking 200 pounds overweight and they can't even breathe. Yeah, that's not a fucking real human. That's a dumb fucking dummy. That's a dummy. And then they're all running around. Oh, God. And it's black magic. Television is telekinesis. It's moving an object, which is a dumb goy human, to go get fucking arsenic from their stores. Stores is where demons go. They are summoned to the store. And you get a ticket, you're summoned to court. Court, a square, a yard. Saturn's court. I can't make it any fucking clearer. I love you.